Everybody, we have a special show today here in Madison, Indiana, in Jefferson County with Richard Ice, who runs the Facebook page Madison Riverfront Legal Defense Fund. So, a lot going on in this community right now, where we have a question of what's happening on the riverfront. The riverfront has really been largely used for public good, with some businesses, some residential, for the last many years. And we are looking at a city government that is trying to put in luxury apartments or high income apartments right now. And the community, we'll talk about that with Richard Ice here, who's done a ton of work and paying attention and trying to hold the government accountable to see what is really happening here, why it's happening, and if we can get to a bottom line of what's good for this community. So, Richard, thank you so much for doing all the work. It's been
a pleasure.
Yeah, it's people like you, and we have a number of people like you across Southern Indiana that really shed light on local issues.
Mm-hmm.
We have the problem here in this district in general that we don't have necessarily a large paper to our media markets are dominated by Louisville or Cincinnati or Indianapolis, and so it really takes individuals like yourself to focus in on these issues and make sure that we all understand them. And that's why we invited you on today. So,
appreciate that.
Would you like to introduce yourself and how you even got into this situation?
Sure. I'm Richard Ice. I am born and raised here in Madison. Did graduate high school, left town 10 years, came back. Been here ever since. My family's always lived here. I've always claimed Madison as home. I got involved in this because I live on the riverfront.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about Madison, Jefferson Street runs north to south, terminates in the river, and I live on Jefferson Street. You walk out my front porch, you see part of the river. You walk out my back porch, you see part of the river.
Mm-hmm.
The apartments they're talking about building will eliminate my back view.
Okay.
Now, having said that, I can still see my front porch and see the river, so that's not why I'm opposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm opposed to it because it's bad for our town.
Okay.
It's bad for our riverfront.
So why is it bad for the town? Why is it bad for the riverfront? Having more housing is something that always is.
We need more housing.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And we need upper end housing, I guess. We don't need it there.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of open spaces around Madison that they could build. City owns 60 acres on the hilltop
mm-hmm.
that they supposedly want to turn into an industrial park.
Mm-hmm.
They've owned the 60 acres since I was a kid,
mm-hmm.
and nobody's ever interested in it.
Okay.
So you put the houses there
mm-hmm.
if you really need to.
And they'll be on the top of the hilltop,
looking over the
river. That would be.
They wouldn't be looking over the river. It's out a little bit in the county,
mm-hmm.
but that's where the land is.
Sure, that's where the land is. And so the land that they're proposing to put this on,
mm-hmm.
or going to put this on at this
mm-hmm.
point, right? Because
right.
I understand it's been rezoned.
It has been rezoned.
And then now there's a lawsuit holding it up for a bit. Are they going to try to? Let's back up for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about this land, this piece of land. What has it been been used for?
This land back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, I don't know when we stopped using coal to heat our houses, but it was a coal yard. Barges would pull up from upriver, Pittsburgh, West Virginia, all that, dock there,
mm-hmm.
and they would pipe the coal across the road into this yard.
Okay.
And people would go down there and buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Wheelbarrow time, bucket at a time, however they got it. Whenever the use of coal to heat our houses got to where it wasn't profitable to do it anymore,
mm-hmm.
The coal company came in, they scraped all the coal off,
mm-hmm.
And left a gravel lot.
Okay.
This was a coal yard for many years. There weren't any environmental regulations back then. So you have no idea what's 1 foot under that ground.
Right.
But it was an empty lot, gravel lot. The regatta rented it off the coal company for many years and used it for storage.
And for those who aren't from Madison, can you tell us what the regatta is?
Madison Regatta, it's probably our most famous event. It's a hydroplane boat race. Happens every July 4th weekend. Draws people from all over the country. Back when Madison wasn't a tourist town, it was our claim to fame outside of Jefferson County. You'd go some place and they'd ask you where you're from, and you'd say, well, I'm from a little small town in southern Indiana. You've probably never heard of. And if they'd never heard of hydroplane races, you're right, they'd never heard of it.
Right.
But if they'd heard of hydroplane races, they're like, I know exactly where that is.
Right.
So
But that's changed. This town has changed. It's developed.
it has.
The businesses have flourished in many different ways. There's a lot of Airbnbs here now.
There are.
Has become a vacation destination for people in Cincinnati, Louisville, and well beyond that too. And that transformation has happened. And so, having housing, there is somewhat of some homeless people here in an encampment. There's also low-income people who don't necessarily have enough housing here or supported, but there's also the demand to grow for higher income housing, especially as these beautiful houses that are down here on the waterfront and downtown have been redeveloped and refurbished. And so there is that demand as well. And so this project really is looking to fit that demand. Are there other projects that the city is working on to fit the needs and demand of lower income housing?
Yeah, there actually are. There
great.
is a complex on the hilltop where they're building subsidized housing. And I don't know all the details as to whether it's Section 8 or just lower income or all that. But it's going to have about 300 units in it. It's a pretty good, for Madison, it's a pretty good sized development.
That's wonderful. Okay, so just laying the land there. So that's being addressed, or at least
and there's
beginning
also
to be addressed.
there are also a couple subdivisions getting ready to go in.
Right.
One of them is going to have 100 units, from what I understand.
Okay, and is that more middle
That's
income?
going to be middle income.
Okay.
My understanding, middle income.
Right. So this place is growing, and the city is taking the responsibility for lower income, for middle income, and this is how they're addressing higher income. But it turns out that most people don't want it to be addressed in this spot.
No.
What is it being used for today, this spot?
It's an empty lot today that is used for, I'm going to say auxiliary purposes. Festival goes on down on our riverfront. We have a lot of them nowadays.
Yeah, you have tons of festivals here.
This lot is
Music
used
City,
for,
Indiana is the new billing. I love that. And I just say, I came down here and we stayed actually in an Airbnb. I only live a half an hour away, but wanted to be here, went bar hopping, had restaurants for my sister-in-law's birthday, spent an amazing time here, woke up in the morning, had a great breakfast and coffee at a coffee shop, and went antiquing in the afternoon because that's what she wanted to do. All of these amazing things that are here going on. So this place really has become a destination, even for a weekend destination or a weekend, with Clifty Falls being here and a beautiful and natural state park. There's just so much to offer. So just kind of laying out for those who have never been to Madison, come to Madison.
Yes, please do. It's and Clifty Falls is our best kept secret. I'm going to do a plug for Madison. To us, it's just a state park. But if you get outside this area and you get with people that understand fossils and that kind of stuff, they all know about Clifty Falls. We get school groups here from colleges all over the Midwest that go into Clifty, and they go up 421, we call it New Hill Road, where they've cut through the hill to put the road in. And you'll see the vans parked beside the road, and the kids and their professors are out digging through the hillside looking for fossils. It's a very under-advertised part of Madison that is huge outside our backyard
And
in that specific area.
stayed up in the lodge up there with friends and family, and all the hiking trails. It's great. It's great. Okay.
So, well, and getting back to where we were, like I said, we use it for utilitarian purposes right now. Right now, this very second, it's being used to store snow.
Okay.
When the last snowstorm came through, they went down Main Street, side streets, all the stuff they'd shoveled off, and basically was blocking all the parking spots.
Mm-hmm.
They had to get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought the front loaders down, loaded it up, trucked it down to the riverfront, and dumped it in the coal yard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think anybody in Madison wants that to stay that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We want it to develop into something. That purpose is needed somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we've asked the mayor, what are we going to do with this? It's being used for this time. What are we going to do with that next time?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
I've got an email from a city councilwoman telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
Those exact words. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
There's no real exit plan here. So, okay. Let's back up for a second.
Okay.
It sounds like a lot of people do not want this to happen. So we'll start with those people. I understand there was some sort of poll that was done of citizens.
Yep. One of the city council people did it was a Facebook poll. So you got to take that with a grain of salt.
Sure.
But
vocal audience that we have of
yes.
Facebook poll.
Right.
And very
it came back 80-20. So 80% were against developing apartments here.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody in Madison is against developing this. The mayor continues to say that. Oh, these people are against development on the riverfront. We're not against development on the riverfront. We have developed our riverfront.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't want the mayor to do it the way he wants to do it.
Well, tell me what you mean by you have developed you as a city has developed the riverfront.
Like I said, I've lived here my whole life. When I was a kid, it's Vaughn Drive is the riverfront road. Vaughn Drive was industrial, remnants of industrial. Nobody wanted to go down there. There was nothing. There were no sidewalks to go walking up the road.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 1-foot gravel breakdown thing. You know how they used to have them back then. On the side of the road, if you wanted to go walking, so you're basically walking out in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
No benches, no sidewalks, no nothing, and nobody went down there.
Okay.
It was used for the regatta.
Mm-hmm.
We went down there for the regatta to sit and watch the regatta.
Mm-hmm.
Then 1986, Mayor Lytle and some citizens got together and decided we got to do something with our riverfront. Where Bicentennial Park is right now was still a tobacco warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very familiar with that because when I graduated college in 1986, my degree was in radio, TV, film.
Mm-hmm.
I was working at the local radio station and I did a live broadcast from the Burley auction at that warehouse.
Okay.
So I know it was still there in 1986. I don't know when they tore it down, but by the 90s, the building had come down. It was a concrete pad, and Mayor Huntington came up with the idea of turning it into amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have there now, an
Sure.
amphitheater. So that was kind of that, and that group of citizens put the sidewalk in. The sidewalk in Madison is not paid for by city funds. It's maintained by city funds. It's not paid for by city funds.
Hmm.
Every brick is paid for by the citizens.
Huh. Okay.
And it now goes from the far east side at Vernon Street, which is the first road comes down to the river, all the way down to Ferry Street at the other end.
Okay.
And
so fast forward to today, it's beautiful down there.
Right.
There are some businesses. There's the ice cream shop. Is that
the ice cream shop? That restaurant's been there for a long time.
Yep.
It's just, even when I was a kid, that restaurant was there.
And
it's just evolved into different things.
And there's a number of houses that back up.
There's
to
a
the
number
river.
of houses that are on the riverfront. But on any park, we think of that as our riverfront as a park.
Uh-huh.
Starting at one end, going the
And
other.
it feels that way.
Right. But in any park, generally, there are residents that have been there forever.
Sure.
and the city or county or state or federal government, whoever, whatever kind of park it is, just bought all the land around it,
Right.
which is what's happened here.
Mhm.
There are a few houses, a few other buildings down there.
Okay.
Um,
So the 80% of people are saying, no, I don't want it. What is the chatter about that on the internet, around town, around why they don't want it specifically?
And it's like I said, none of us are opposed to development of it. We've come up with some great ideas for what we could do with it.
Like what?
It'd be a great food court for food trucks.
Mhm.
You know, you can pave it pretty cheap. You're not having to dig down into it
Mhm.
to disturb that soil. You just lay a coat of asphalt over it, encapsulate it's what they call it. The electric is already there. They dropped the electric there a long time ago for all the food trucks from the regatta.
Mhm.
So the electric's already there. So you just put in some stations for people, food trucks nowadays, to rent them.
Mhm.
And we've got a food court with all the food trucks,
Mhm.
6, 12, 18, whatever you can fit in there.
Sure.
There's the idea of a park,
Mhm.
a legitimate park. They just built one on more in the center of the town. They call it the Ohio River Legacy Park. There's some scuttlebutt about that because that happens to be in the vice mayor's backyard.
Okay.
So they spent $500,000 fixing a park there, but they want to put housing actually on the riverfront. That park isn't quite on the riverfront. There's a parking lot between them.
Got it.
So, and there are other ideas. There's one citizen who offered to buy it at the appraised price from the city. And he's in writing, he told them he would turn it over to Conservancy to
Mhm.
protect it.
Mhm.
They rejected that offer.
Okay. Did they say why?
No, not that I know of.
Mhm.
Um,
And so, in general, people are objecting about the high-rise nature of it and
a lot of things.
the aesthetic nature of it, or what?
Probably the most vocal opposition is the aesthetic nature.
Mhm.
If you've been to Jeffersonville and seen their riverfront,
Mhm.
they've got apartments on the north side right on the sidewalk.
Mhm.
That's what this is going to be.
Mhm.
They have passed an ordinance where they got to move it back 5 feet off the sidewalk.
Mhm.
5 feet is shorter than I am.
Mhm.
So it's basically right on the sidewalk. So there's going to be this monolith of a wall there. And if you walk down our riverfront, there are 2 places where you can turn north and look back into the town and see the beauty of Madison.
Mhm.
One of them is Bicentennial Park. You can see the hills and the houses up on the hills and all that and into the downtown. And the other right now is that lot.
Mhm.
You can see the cupola of the courthouse
Mhm.
very clearly.
Mhm.
You can see into downtown Madison, the tops of some of the buildings.
Mhm.
We've got a duck pin bowling lane that just opened up.
Mhm.
Wine bar duck pin bowling.
Yep. Yep.
You can see their upper deck from up there. So
Mhm.
from that upper deck, you can see the river
Mhm.
until they build these apartments.
Sure.
So mostly it's the aesthetics, but there's other issues.
It's the aesthetics and the beauty of it. It's also the identity of this town.
Right.
Right. It's
Yeah.
aesthetics, but it's so beautiful
Mhm.
and it's quaint.
Mhm.
And I saw the other day that it was, a top 10 small river town in the US, right? It gets on those lists all the time
Yes, it
for a
does.
reason.
Mhm.
This would start to degrade some of that.
I believe that, and a lot of people believe that.
Okay. Okay, gotta continue. So, what happened? It needed to be rezoned. How did it get rezoned?
Yeah, so it is in the it was zoned open space. The whole riverfront was pretty much zoned open space. If you go down the west end, there was still some industrial zoning down there from when there was a junkyard down there that had never been rezoned.
Sure.
It's not used as a junkyard anymore. It's a park.
Mhm.
Heritage Trail Park is down there.
Mhm.
And here and there are other little zoning, but for the most part, it is open space zoning, which means you can't build apartments in it.
Sure.
So the mayor started to try and change the zoning.
Mhm.
In this particular case, he never had any public meetings about it.
Okay.
To start with, he never asked the people for an opinion on what we want done with that lot.
And so let me just fact check here. So the mayor started
Mhm.
the push for it.
Yep.
Who are the developers?
Don't know.
So you don't know yet.
No.
They have. Okay.
So
the
the city
reason-
bought this lot.
It was build it and they will come kind of thing. So
No,
rezone and then
there's
someone will come, or
there's a developer, and that's the biggest problem a lot of people have with this is the mayor's not telling us anything.
wait. So that sounds concerning. Okay.
Yeah, we agree.
I didn't quite know that part
Yeah.
to that extent. So you don't even know who the developer is.
No. This is also being, do you remember Ready grants?
Yeah.
They got a Ready grant for this.
Okay.
So the city is paying for part of this development through Ready money.
Okay.
So that's how uneconomical this deal is. They can't get a developer to come do it on their own.
Right. But the long-term, I guess, argument from would be you're getting high-income people in here who will spend money.
The argument's also that those things are going to sit empty November to April
Right.
because high-income people are going to Florida
That's right.
or Arizona or wherever.
And that is the case. I mean, I just knocked doors in this town, and that is the case right now on February 21st.
I live on Southern Jefferson Street. There are 4 houses there. One is a rental. There's mine, and there's 2 snowbirds. Those houses are empty right now.
Okay.
City goes to Ready and says, we want this as an economic development tool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, there's question how high-end housing could be seen as an economic development tool.
Okay.
It's mostly probably going to be retirees. They'll come here and spend some money, but is that economic development worth what the city's paying to develop this lot?
Mm-hmm.
This lot's in the floodplain.
Mm-hmm.
It was underwater this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to build it 15 feet in the air.
Okay.
And then they can build it 35 feet above that 15 feet. So that wall I was talking about is going to be a 50-foot wall.
Got it.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
When you put it that way.
Yeah. It's a 50-foot wall.
Uh-huh.
One of the council members took a balloon down there, helium balloon, and ran it up 50 feet so people could see this is where the wall stops. And it was pretty
Dramatic.
eye-opening. Yeah. So city gets this Ready money. And in their proposal, they had a contractor named.
Mm-hmm.
That contractor has since pulled out.
Okay.
Do
you know anything about that contractor?
To the best of my knowledge, they're a very reputable contractor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that the mayor had kept them entirely informed in what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a legitimate campaign to contact them and say, we want to talk to you in an open forum
mm-hmm.
about what you're doing down here.
Mm-hmm.
Never got those conversations going. They just withdrew,
mm-hmm.
said, we're not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Another company stepped in, said, we'll do this. My understanding is that company is now withdrawn.
Okay.
And they're looking for a contractor.
Okay.
Supposedly they've had some people in, but the mayor's not talking, so nobody knows where.
Were there any statements around why they withdrew, or did the mayor?
Mayor hasn't said a word about
council.
The actual development of it, other than we need development on the riverfront.
Okay. And so I assume the person who did the balloon is on council and was not happy about.
He was not.
The balloon. Okay. Not
about the
was not showing the merits of of this.
He is the whole reason anybody knew this was happening. The mayor didn't tell the people.
Oh, really?
He just put it in the minute or in the agenda, posted the agenda 3 days before the meeting, and it was going to the committee. The councilman gets it out there. And in that 3-day time, we packed the place.
Okay.
Um,
And let me just say, this is a Republican councilman.
It's all,
Republican mayor.
every elected official in the city
Right.
of Madison is
So
Republican.
it's not really a Republican Democrat issue.
No, this is not.
Right. It's
There
kind of
are,
crossing party lines.
there
And
are,
I've seen, and let me just vouch for that. I've seen that very much talking to Republicans and Democrats,
Yeah.
people on both sides
Right.
of the issue.
Yeah.
It does not seem to go along party lines.
no, we even talked to the Democratic Party and said, please don't take this up as an issue,
Mm-hmm.
because there are Republicans who will back out if they think it's a Democratic issue.
Right. Right.
And we didn't want that because we don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Republican Democratic issue. It's, and you're right, he is a Republican. And when the actual vote came down, there were 2 of them that voted no, and they're both Republicans.
That's an important point of all of this. Okay. And again, this podcast today is about seeking to understand. And I think we have a few viewers on right now already on the live here
Okay.
who are staying with us. I can see,
Okay.
I can see the dashboard here,
Okay.
who are really very interested in the details. And I think people will be interested in getting to really the detailed bottom of this. So thank you for going through it and being so knowledgeable and really following it so closely. Okay, so we have a mayor that kind of tried to push something through without transparency or accountability.
Right.
Has he said anything about that move? Has he said,
Not
hey,
a
I'm
word.
sorry I did it that way,
Not a
or
word.
hey, this is why I did it that way?
Nope.
All right, he hasn't said anything publicly.
He hasn't said anything publicly.
And then the city, or nor has the city council.
City council hasn't said anything publicly.
Okay. And 2 of them voted against him,
2
though,
have voted against it.
and they haven't said anything.
Nope.
Okay. It seems not. Let me just say, as a government officials, it is their responsibility, even the ones who vote against, to say why you're making your decisions.
Yeah.
What facts you're building your decisions off of, or what popular opinion, what your constituents want. Is there engagement in any way?
The only engagement they really said was they didn't think the people opposed to this represented the true feelings of the town.
Okay. So the only information they had was their gut.
Yeah,
Okay,
pretty much.
got it. And they've spent a good bit of money on this whole process. I would
assume, I
think, and
don't know.
polling and or putting up for public opinion could be. Okay, so let's get back to the balloon goes in the air. This dramatic moment. I can't imagine. Do you know what color the balloon was? Were you there?
I saw it, but I think orange or red or something like that.
Yeah. So you can see the balloon in the air. We're the 50. That's very dramatic. I wish is there video of that? I hope someone has
There's
a picture.
stills, I know.
Okay.
I don't know if there's video.
I would
that.
love to see a picture of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it made the paper. And so the
No,
no.
that's our other problem in this town.
So okay, we talk about media in general being, putting light on things. So, which is, I guess, the point of why we're doing this today, and in general. So the balloon goes up, and that's about 3 days before when they were going to push it through.
Well, the balloon actually went up afterwards.
Okay, and then you pack the house of the next city council meeting.
It's a convoluted way it has to happen. The rezoning has to happen first. And for that to happen, the planning zone board has to vote to send it to the council.
Okay.
So that was the first meeting.
The planning zone
planning
board
zone
said,
board.
okay. And is the mayor on that planning
The
zone
mayor's
board?
not on it, but the mayor appoints 3 members of it. Council appoints 3 members of it. And those numbers I know there's 3 council members.
Okay, but they're all appointed officials.
They're all appointed by the varying city governments.
And so they
County
said,
has a couple people on
they
it.
said, we recommend we rezone it. Hey, city council, you have to vote on it to rezone it.
Yes.
Okay.
Long story. Yeah. That happened.
Yes. And so you all went and packed the house to that city council meeting.
Yes.
And how many people were there, do you think?
It was at capacity.
Okay.
During the planning commission meetings, we had, this is where we get into some of the stuff I have to be careful about what I'm talking about. They actually had to move that meeting to Ivy Tech's auditorium.
Wow.
And they eventually had to close the doors and not let any more people in there
Because you hit capacity.
because we hit capacity.
Fire capacity. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Interesting. Okay. So people are zeroed in onto this.
Right. Yeah.
Again, in what seems like a relatively nonpartisan way. Truly, it's a community issue. Okay, so so bring me to that meeting. All these people are there. There's a stage, I assume. With the city council.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
The mayor there.
the mayor is there.
And do they start to explain what the intentions are?
No, they don't explain anything. They, other than saying, we're here to talk about this, we're going to public comment.
Mm-hmm.
And they went straight into public comment. When the public comment was done, they said, okay, let's vote. And they voted.
Okay. And what was the vote?
They recommended for the city council to rezone the riverfront.
Okay. And what was the next step that the city had to take?
Then
And did people get to comment on it at all?
on
After they recommended?
no, after the meeting's over, done. It then goes.
Were people upset? I mean,
Oh yeah,
that were there?
Yeah.
Was there chat? Or was there people yelling?
no, there wasn't. I mean, they were they were adults.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so that recommendation goes to city council. City council has to vote on it. That meeting was held at City Hall again,
Mm-hmm.
which is a fifth the capacity of Ivy Tech.
Mhm.
And it was, again, standing room only out in the hallways.
Mhm.
And at that meeting, they voted, I think there's 7 of them, so 5-2 to rezone the riverfront.
Okay. So now it's rezoned officially
Yes.
for residential.
No, it's rezoned riverfront. They created their own little special zone for this 3-block area. And that's the other thing, when
So
it
they
was
call it a new type of
a
zone?
new type of zone.
Okay.
And originally, this zone was from Jefferson Street to Ferry Street. Went half the riverfront.
Sure.
With the original round of people being mad, they cut it back to 3 blocks. It's Jefferson to St. Michael. In that little area is the coal yard, which they want to turn into apartments. There is a parking lot down towards the Fairfield Inn, which is our really nice hotel.
Yep.
That was refurbished, even though we've never had economic development on our riverfront.
Mhm.
Somehow we spent, or the guys that owned the place spent millions redoing this building. But they have very small parking lots.
Mhm.
So they bought this land to overflow parking on events.
Mhm.
As open space, they couldn't do anything but leave it as grass.
Mhm.
So now, as in the refiguring of the riverfront zone, they can now create a parking lot.
Mhm.
They could actually build more apartments or more hotel rooms if they wanted to.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
there are hundreds of unintended consequences that the city does not address.
Mhm. And what's the conversation around these decisions, but also the roadmap moving forward? They putting it in the paper? Are they having meetings about it? Is getting on the radio?
They'll
like,
make,
what is
and like I said, that's part of the problem with our media nowadays. Small town paper. So I'm not blaming them for the realities of today's world, but they have 2 reporters, I think, covering everything going on in this county. So there's no investigative journalism whatsoever. He sits in the meeting, reports, gets a few quotes, and that's what goes in the paper.
Okay.
So they're not asking anybody any questions about tomorrow. What's the idea for this? How's it being paid for? So forth and so on. This is what was said in the meeting.
Okay.
In today's world, I can go on YouTube and watch every meeting start to finish from my living room. So we don't really need that kind of reporting, but in today's environment, that's all newspapers can afford to do and stay in business. So it's
It sounds like it's a service, however.
It is a service, yes.
But
I'm much happier with it than I'd be without it. But it's down to 2 days a week.
Okay.
Not that long ago, it was a 6-day-a-week paper with full news staffs, and never has it done deep, dark investigative reporting, but at least they would talk to people.
Sure.
Now they don't even do that.
Okay.
And like I said, I know the guy who's the primary reporter, and he is a great guy. He just doesn't have time. He's going from this meeting to that meeting, that meeting, that meeting. So.
Okay. Great. So you have where we are is it's been rezoned. We understand the rezoning a bit. What does the community do then? How do we get to a lawsuit at this point? Who's suing the city?
The citizens. And I'll be entirely honest with you, I am one of the complainants in that. That's why I hesitate to say anything about the lawsuit or any of the legalistic parts of it. But
so let's stay very factual here, and I'll lead us down some facts, and you can say, I don't want to answer that very openly. No one's going to make you answer something. So who is suing the city?
It is 6 of us, 6 citizens who are property owners around that lot, for the most part.
Okay. Based off of what grievance?
The way the meetings were conducted.
In terms of not being transparent, or?
I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the way the meetings were conducted, you think invalidates the fact that it's rezoned, it sounds like. Okay. Great. And when did you file that lawsuit?
November?
About-ish.
December?
Okay.
November, December. Not long after the city council voted.
Okay, late fall, sometime,
right.
early winter. Okay, so it's been going on for maybe 3 months or so. Okay. It's not gone to court or anything at this point.
No, not even close.
Right. So lawyers are talking to lawyers.
Yeah, lawyers are doing lawyers things.
Yeah, and they're figuring it out with one another. Maybe there's some sort of settlement or resolution or arbitration that can happen to move this forward, so it doesn't have to go into a court case. Got it. Lawyers are doing what lawyers usually do, right? Try to keep things out of court and get to resolution. That would be nice. You probably can't answer this question, but what would a good resolution look like for you?
They don't build the apartments. And here's the problem. Overall, the problem with our city government here in Madison, this isn't the only lawsuit. Aaron Houchin was in town last week announcing that we were getting $1 million from the federal government for floodwater control in Crooked Creek, which Crooked Creek floods a lot.
Right.
The day before, the mayor announced he was buying, the city was buying a mobile home park in that area.
Mhm.
And in very tiny print, part of that purchase price of $500,000 plus, I think it was 55,000, was settlement of a lawsuit
Mhm.
that homeowner had filed, where the city had gone in and tore down a building
Mm,
that they supposedly had condemned and then just bulldozed it.
got it.
So we get $1 million, half of it's going to this guy to get the land and settle the lawsuit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay, so they took the land and or took the money from the federal government and used it to solve their own problems they created.
yes, I assume that is what they are doing with the money, because again, the mayor didn't tell us where the money to pay for this land was coming from.
Okay,
But the next day, $1 million is put in his pocket, put in the city's pocket.
city's pocket. So yeah, there's questions, and these
Yeah.
are very fair questions.
Right. And that's
And
our
so-
problem with
and
the mayor. He
people-
doesn't answer them.
Right, and people jump to conclusions
Mm-hmm.
because those conclusions aren't being filled in, right? And you're not having information. This is accountability. This is transparency. Those are the things
Yep.
that we demand from our government officials. Seems like we're not getting much of that. And if the mayor or city council wants to give us that information, we're more than happy to bring you all on to Project Next and talk about this in a fair way, and just have a similar seek to understand a type of conversation, because that's what we're trying to do here. So, or even facilitate a conversation between you all. Okay, so now we're here today, and you're waiting for lawyers to do lawyer things, as you
Mhm.
said, and lawyers to talk to one another. I guess you all have to fund this.
I'd rather not get into that.
Can't talk about that. Okay, so, is there any expectation on timeline?
Not really.
And are they legally allowed to go ahead and, if they find a contractor, to build while the lawsuit is happening? And
I'd have to give you a layman's answer because I don't know if they are or if they aren't.
All right, but functionally, what contractor is going to go try to build something
Exactly.
while
Yeah.
a lawsuit is happening?
Yeah, that's
not
part
gonna-
of the problem.
That's not going to happen. Okay. All right. Well, I feel like I understand a whole lot more
Good.
about the history of this issue, where we are today. What can listeners who are part of that 80%
Mhm.
do today?
As it happens, and this is another thing that kind of boggles people's minds. When this first started, the mayor told everybody that he'd put a committee together to put together a unified zoning ordinance.
Mhm.
Madison's whole entire zoning hadn't been looked at in 50 years,
Mhm.
legitimately. So he'd put this committee together to look at that. Yet that bill is now going to city council for them to approve it. Yet he had to pull this out and make it a whole separate issue 4 months before this whole ordinance was coming. So long story short, contact your city councilman.
Mhm.
Let them know how you feel about the new zoning, including they should be able to revert this zoning back to open space.
Mhm.
So if you
And it
want,
sounds like
Yeah.
also you can write your city councilman
Mhm.
or your mayor and ask for transparency.
that would also be good, but I don't think you're going to get that.
Well,
Given-
let me challenge that for a second.
Okay.
We've seen here in Indiana some pretty tremendous grassroots successes in the last 6 months, with gerrymandering being defeated. And that didn't just accidentally happen because some Republicans stood up to Mike Braun, and to Donald Trump, which was great, that they did what the people wanted, because polling showed over and over and over again that Hoosiers didn't want redistricting. And that was such an amazing thing that happened. And, all the kudos and props in the world to the Republicans, the Democrats, anybody who stood up to that and did what people wanted. That was what I saw, was people calling their representatives, calling their state senators, calling Mike Braun's office, who had never done so before. They have never been part of that democratic process in that way. Not only that, they showed up at the State House and were part of the democratic process in that way. They were on the streets. They were it just was such political activity and Hoosiers engaging in democracy. I feel like if Madison were to do the same and people voice their opinions, you can't ignore that. You can do the opposite of what they said because you're elected, and you can do that, and you probably won't get reelected, but you can't ignore it. So
they did the first time.
They did.
That was a the gentleman I told you that offered to buy the lot is a money donating Republican. They ignored him.
Okay.
People that walked into those meetings come from both sides of the aisle.
I feel like you're not going to be able to answer the next questions, but I'll say it then.
Okay.
So, which is, okay, that is a strong statement. If they're denying their own supporters, their own donors, information or decision-making capability, or, the people who voted for them, the people who supported them, saying, hey, we're not even going to go along with what you all want to say, or give you transparency around it. That means to me that there's some other, not to me, to anybody, there's some other motivation for doing this than what people want. Even the people who are closest to them. Are these guys up for a re-election? Guys and gals?
They will be, not this fall, but next fall. Madison city elections are Indiana's normal, all by themselves.
Okay, yeah, all by themselves. Although that's being tried to be changed right now, which I hope it's not. Okay, so the city elections are happening next year. We don't know if anybody's rerunning. There's empty information here. What is the motivations? What are the motivations? I'm not asking you to answer that.
Right.
I'm kind of saying, does anyone have that information of what the motivations are for not being transparent, for not being accountable?
Right.
I'd like to know that. I think it's
you're
right.
Here's another curveball out there. And I haven't been able to dig into this yet, so I'm not 100% positive exactly how this is going to work. But I've been told bills going through the legislation right now to rework the way TIF money is used.
Okay. TIF is one of the most confusing things for people to understand, including myself, anybody.
Yeah. And
I just want to say that before you get into TIF, because we've talked about TIF on Project Next for hours.
Right.
And at the end of it, people's eyes are crossed, right?
Yes, I understand. Okay. And the mayor tries to tell people it's not tax money.
Right.
It's government money. It's got to come from somewhere, but it's not tax money. So this bill going through the legislature, my understanding, is trying to clean some of that up. What TIF money can be used for and other things. But the point of all this is that in what I read, there is a drop. If this bill passes, there is a may drop dead point where if your project hasn't started, you can't use TIF money. This lot is using TIF money. So, and like I said, I haven't been able to dig deeply into this yet to know if that's exactly true. But
okay, so we won't hold you to that,
Yeah.
but it sounds like that's a possibility. Are there any things in Madison that are being underfunded that are public resources or that people are looking for resources for? I know
Um,
there's problems with the EMS
yeah,
system a bit in terms of not enough ambulance care coverage.
that's being addressed. Madison, can't tell you how lucky Madison is. We had a private hospital.
Right.
It was run by King's Daughters
Yep.
group, which it's been around 100 years. And long story short on what King's Daughters is, it's basically a group of women or men now, but mostly women still, who they were called circles back in that day.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they were a social organization. Well, they got together in the 1920s and raised the money to build our original hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And until 3-4 years ago, they still owned it.
Mm-hmm.
We built a new hospital up on the hilltop. They did that. But then, as all things medical are, they just couldn't afford to keep running it.
Mm-hmm.
The government made some regulations on what needed to be in their computer system. So they were going to need a whole new computer system. They couldn't afford that. Long story short, Norton's came in and bought it,
Mm-hmm.
paid them $50+ million.
Mm-hmm.
Those ladies, obviously it's a nonprofit. They couldn't profit from it. So they took that $50 million and created a nonprofit philanthropy organization,
Mm-hmm.
A local Lilly.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got $50 million to give away.
What are they using that for?
Children, elderly, and healthcare.
Okay.
And I believe, if I'm correct, they are helping fund our ambulance service now.
Okay.
And they're doing many other things. The idea when that was originally started was 5 years, they give it all away.
Mm-hmm.
We're very fortunate, and they have a very good money manager,
So,
and they now have more than $50 million.
right. Yeah. It should
So-
be, especially right now.
Yeah.
The way things are
Yeah.
going in terms of
Yeah.
those who get to invest right now are
Yeah.
making money.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got that helping us with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the mayor's big things when he started was all the administrations before him weren't maintaining things.
Mm-hmm.
The catchphrase was deferred maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Everything with deferred maintenance. We gotta take care of this. Deferred maintenance.
Okay. So this is interesting. I'd love to learn more about that. I'll probably find someone from there to talk about that fund a little bit more.
Yeah, but the point of the deferred maintenance, what I'm getting at is, we had that problem then. He's built all this other stuff, and our taxes haven't gone up yet.
Mm-hmm.
So how's he going to pay for all the deferred maintenance and all the new stuff maintenance?
Yeah. Got it. Sounds like our federal government.
Yeah.
Okay. Just kick it off to the future generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll
Blame the last one and let the new one
pay for
figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay. All right. Well, we learned a lot today.
I
So
hope so.
is there any last words that you want to put in here?
No, I appreciate you doing this. I think this is good. This is very good.
How are you feeling right now?
A little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Madison's not a big town.
Yeah.
There may be some blowback.
Mm-hmm.
This mayor has been known to produce blowback.
Okay. Well, I was just to say I've been I met him many times.
Mhm.
He's always been friendly to me.
He is. I went to high school with him. He's a friendly guy.
One thing I would say is at the latest Pride Fair, he was there, and the time before then, getting up and talking about how he's in favor of LGBTQ rights, which was interesting. Then,
Yeah.
and that he was able to be so forthcoming about that in as a Republican mayor. You know, which is an issue in the Republican Party that people don't necessarily see eye to eye on. So that was really refreshing and interesting to see him talk about that. Yeah, whenever I see him, I saw him at the 5K. What was that? The MLK 5K. I think it was MLK.
Should be.
Or no, it was June 19th. June 10th 5K. He was there, and he came up and went out of his way to introduce himself to me or say hi to me again. So I want to say he's been very, very cordial. That's different than how you might govern and the decisions you make. But I will say that for the man, he's been that way.
I don't. Outside of his office, I have no problem with him. He's a nice guy. Like I said, I was a year behind him in school, and I've known him forever. Not friends with him, but known who he was, and don't have a problem with him.
Okay. Well, I hope there's accountability and transparency moving forward here, and I hope this helps to put a little, pressure, good pressure, on the city government to say what's going on, because it seems like there's a lot of questions in the air still that people need answered.
And that's one of the things I can't understand. Like I said, if he'd come out and said, other than we need economic development on our riverfront, if he'd explained what his idea behind that was, a lot of people who are opposed, who are staunch Republicans, might have said, oh, okay. But he's not explaining anything to anybody that I know of. It's just my way, and deal with it.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you, Madison. We will see you in the future.